private sector engagement as OCHA with the UN system and with others in the interagency working group in East Africa, particularly World Vision, on putting together a platform to basically do two things. I mean, to first of all increase the strategic engagement with the private sector, less about us coming to them with requests for finance to fill gaps in programs. More about looking at what is it that drives the private sector to engage in humanitarian action, and increase the predictability of our engagement for preparedness, because there's a lot of work we can do now, preparing for droughts, floods, elections. Right now, today, we just met with the Scout Foundation, Scout Movement. Their presence, what can they bring, and partner with others for early warning, for delivery of assistance in remote places, for example. What can we do to increase the predictability when a response happens, and in the protracted settings. And the protracted settings is what we've talked about today in terms of Kakuma providing a test bed, a series of pilots for collaborative work linking government, the UN, NGOs and civil society with refugees. But what I'd like to see is how we can move to some of the more difficult contexts in this region. The protracted conflict setting, South Central Somalia, two areas in Sudan, Upper Nile, Jonglei, South Sudan, where really the NGOs and the UN have sustained access problems, and we know that others, local national NGOs and the private sector have a massive comparative advantage. As it was said today, if you can get coke into South Central Somalia or into the two areas, then why not vaccines? And I think those kind of questions is we've really got to look at the comparative advantages throughout a broader set of actors. Finance is part of the issue. Yes, we need to pull our belts in with $20.1 billion required globally this year, less than 10 billion in receipts. That means 1 in 2 projects is going to get funded, right? Mm-hmm. So you better make sure the one project that is funded is in the place of the most acute need and where UN and partners have the most comparative advantage to respond. Therefore, what's happening with the rest? And that's where we need a broader partnership. We've been following the World Humanitarian Summit debate. There is unanimous agreement from member states to the UN, from those who deliver aid, and most importantly from those who receive aid, that those who are local are in the best position to deliver aid at scale in the future. So that means not only local government, local NGOs, local civil society, this means local private sector. So what we're losing out on the opportunity to capitalize on the business opportunity from the private sector to be a pivotal leader and team player in delivering assistance in a multiplicity of crises across the region. So this platform is a small piece of this puzzle, but it's not branded. This isn't the UN, this isn't World Vision, this isn't UNOCHA. This is a common platform where people can find a neutral space to connect, first and foremost. It's very efficient. No, you don't need any coordination meeting or lots of air-conditioned hotel meetings to do this work. We can simply put four or five people in touch on a platform who have a common interest in providing assistance in particular hotspots in the region. We started with Turkana. I would like to see this move to some of the more tricky environments.